assaulting your audio receptors like the commotion of the smoke-saturated halls of the princely pachinko parlor. It's DIA, or Dudes in Asia. What up, Dude Maniacs? As always, this is David Hayter.
And this is David Wynn, a.k.a. The People's Nooks.
In the landmark 25th episode of our podcast, we're going to be talking about volunteering, networking, and freelancing.
Nice. Yeah, happy 25th episode, bro. So, yeah. Indeed, man. Yep, it's something I should be doing more of, but Hayter is a man that can really talk about this topic. I'll throw in some personal insight here and there, but this is going to be the Hayter in Asia episode.
For sure, man.
Yep.
So, yeah, man. Oh, what's happening, Doug? Anything new with you?
Man, let's see. So, today, I signed up at a UFC gym. So I'm gonna start doing some MMA, boxing, and some Muay Thai, man.
Right on, dude. What's the overhead on that like, man? It's pretty pricey out there,
yeah. It's actually so like, you could go to any UFC gym, any California fitness and yoga places. This is like pretty high end, and they're all over the country. So it's like 42 months for like $1,300.
Like $1,300
yeah.
for 42 months. That's not bad though. That's almost over 3 years, right?
Yeah, like almost
3.5 years.
3.5 years, man.
Not bad.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? Like, I have a 21-day free trial first, so I'm gonna check it out. But I signed up today, so I'm gonna start tomorrow. And then been a busy week. I'm like part-time program manager and part-time like personal assistant for VC. So I've been doing a lot of projects for his house and stuff like that, but it's been cool. I get a lot of shit done and keeps me active. Get to learn a little more about some stuff that's going on in the city that I don't do in the office. And then I'm actually hearing a good audiobook right now. It's called Extreme Ownership. It's a Navy SEALs guy. Really good. Okay. Pretty good, man. And then possible Japan trip to visit you. Still waiting for my info, man.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Like, but I don't know. I remember like how your boss would be sometimes, right? Like some days just like, hey, you want to go to Philippines tonight? It's like, okay. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get some tickets. Let's go.
Yeah. Or it's like, pack your bags. We're going tonight. It's like, let me wait. Like 2 hours later, yeah, we're not going. So it's like, it really is like 50-50 with him. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, recent shout out, Joe's B-Day passed on March 10th. Happy late birthday, bro.
Oh yeah, that's right. Happy birthday, my man.
What about you, bro? What's new?
You know, same old stuff, dude. Like, you know, I was doing my diet and exercise and whatnot. I got like super busy right now, so I kind of put that on the back burner, you know. Mm-hmm. Like there's some people out there like, oh, if you care enough about it, you'll make it happen, you know. But like if I could actually work out in my own apartment in the morning, then I could do it. Mm-hmm. You know, but it's like too noisy for all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I got a lot going on like this week, the next week. So, you know, taking a small break. I'll get back to it later.
Yeah, man.
Also, yeah, it's true, man. Also, this is like the last week I'm at my current school, so I'll be like switching to a new school like in April.
Then that'll be like, so when you switch in April, that'll be like the final schools until the rest of your year, right? Until July?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, those will be the final schools that I go to. Mm-hmm. But like, I know it's just funny because like all the teachers like, oh, David, you're not gonna stay here next year? I'm like, nope, I'm not. Like, oh man, we're sad. I'm like, oh really? Like, yes, you're a great teacher. I'm like, thank you. They're like, yes, you're easy to talk to. I'm like, well, tell these other people that say the opposite of that. You know, yeah. I don't know, man. I guess I'm easy to talk to if you want me to help you with something. Mm-hmm. And I'm not easy to talk to when you want to give me a BS excuse.
That sucks.
But it was all right, though, man. We had, you know, I'm enjoying it. I got, like, a bunch of thank you letters, like, from kids and whatnot.
Oh, nice. That's gotta be heartwarming.
Yeah, it's nice, you know, and, like, not to sound, like, you know, too over it, but this is, like, my 5th go-around.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, I know like some kids really mean it, but a lot of times like, all right, for today's English class, we're going to write a thank you letter to the ALT. Oh. Like here are like 5 different sayings. Just choose one and copy it. You know?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then the thing too is like when we move out, we can have like nothing, and like I doubt I'm gonna take it with me back to America. It's just like whew,
Yep.
into the trash. You know?
Sad but true. Yeah. That's just the world we live in.
Yeah, it is nice. Like if I see something that looks really cool, I'll take like a picture of it. You know?
Yeah, digital memory is good enough.
Yeah, and then over the weekend too. Like on Saturday, I went and volunteered teaching some of the South American kids again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I went and ate some Peruvian food. Yeah,
still gotta make that.
Yeah, the lomo saltado.
Yes. Yeah, that chicken soup they had.
Yeah. Well, this one place when I got like some wonton soup, like Peruvian style.
Yeah.
That was good.
I remember the first time I had it, it was just like it's partly Asian, but also like partly like a Latin influence, which is like really good.
Yeah. Yeah, and then on Sunday, like my homeboy Norio, he's like a fireman whose hobby is driving race cars.
Oh yeah, you've mentioned him before.
Yeah, he had his race on Sunday, and it was funny. He's like, David, would you like to come to my race? I was like, sure. He's like, my friend will pick you up in this car. I can get you a discounted ticket. I'm like, sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's like his friend picked us up, like took us out to Suzuka Circuit to see his race. Usually it was like $17. We only paid like $9, and then he bought us lunch.
Nice.
So I'm like, hey, that's cool. And he's like, when will we drink next time? I'm like, how about next week? He's like, this is fine.
Wait, what is he? Is he Japanese?
Yeah, he's Japanese.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty hilarious. Alright, so tonight we're talking about volunteering, networking, and freelancing. So, yeah, we'll talk a little bit. Yeah, man, it's something that I feel is even more important as an expat, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's just a really good way to get into the culture and meet other people, you know?
That's right.
Yeah, so that's why volunteering is quite good, you know, because you get to meet other people and you meet other, like-minded people, you know, that want to, they want to help other people. They want to, like, do more, you know, give back. And, like, you know, some people volunteer in the community. Some people, like, travel to volunteer, you know, like, especially in Japan. Like, when they have, like, some natural disasters and stuff, like, people like to go out and help out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember it's funny, too, like, after that big earthquake in Kumamoto, they had to be like, volunteers, don't come yet. It's not safe. Like, you go in there, we're going to have to come rescue your ass. Like, you know? Yeah.
That's crazy.
But, yeah, it's also kind of like a win-win, you know, because you get to help out somebody else and, you know, they appreciate your help. And then at the same time, like, you're building your skills and experience, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And whatever, you know, you move on to next in your career or, you know, if you get another job, it does look like very good on a resume, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you have two people that are equally qualified and, like, one person has some volunteer experience, we're like, okay. Like, you know, somebody who's willing to
go above and beyond, man. Not just like, not just the job title or because he has to, but he's just like, because he's willing to.
Yeah, you know, it's like they'll give up a little bit of their free time to benefit somebody else, you know? Yeah, it shows like taking initiative. It shows like drive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then especially too in a foreign country, it can be a good way to practice your language skills, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah, or at least in Japan, like, you know, people in those groups, like, they want to learn some English, like, you want to practice some Japanese, you know? Yeah, it's a good way to do all that stuff while giving back to the community.
Yeah. So what have you volunteered before for? Yeah,
I'm active in a few groups. One of them is Santa and Friends Nagoya. I think I talked a little bit about them before. It was like the ones that go to the orphanages in Nagoya.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I always go to their Christmas party that they put on for the kids once a year. And outside of that, like, they have some regular visits, like, to the orphanages. I don't know if I'll be able to go, though, man, because the schedule was always tight.
Mm-hmm.
But there's, like, a guy from England, and they're going to start a program, maybe, like, they're going to teach, like, there's an all-boys, like, orphanage. They're, like, going to go over there and teach them how to play rugby. I was like, I'll be down for that. I'm, like, a good tackling dummy, you know? So I'm just tackle the shit out of, like, some 14-year-old Japanese teenagers. Like, Destroyed. No. And then another one I do is I have a friend, and like she knows a lot of kids from South America, and so I'll do like some tutoring over there, you know. But then that's pretty crazy because like, you know, like some kids from like Peru or Bolivia, they speak Spanish, and then like some kids from Brazil speak Portuguese, and then they're all in Japan, so like some speak a lot of Japanese and some are just learning it, and they're all trying to learn English, and that's like what we're there to help them with. But like in one day I'll be speaking like Spanish to like a Portuguese kid, and he'll be like speaking it back and understand him, and then we'll be like, it's just all like fucked up, man. It's all mixed up, you know? Yeah. And then the last place I volunteer with is Omotenashi Net Yokkaichi, and they're the ones that do like the volunteer tour guide stuff for ships, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like I've helped them make like an English website. I've gone like to the events and like shown people around, you know.
You're on TV because of that, right?
Yeah, I was, yeah. Yeah, I was on TV because of that. And then I was on TV another time too because like through that group. But actually, you know, it wasn't through that group. Well, like through that group, when the Canadian gymnast team came out here, I went to a reception party. That was through the Omotenashi Net Yokkaichi. And then just through my employer, when they came to the school I was teaching at, they wanted me to stay back and like be a volunteer translator. Like I was supposed to go to City Hall and like teach these people how to be Santa Claus. And they're like, no, David, we want you to stay and translate for the Canadians. I'm like, you got it.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like you said, there's something you're looking to get into, but I know you're pretty busy, man. You got a kid and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, have you done any volunteering out there?
I did. I was part of this whole... Well, the story that was sold was this basketball... Like, teach kids how to play basketball and also learn English. It was supposed to be for underprivileged kids with no fathers and, like, you know, poverty level. But when I showed up, you could clearly see these kids were very privileged and had both their parents. But we volunteered anyway. We still just taught these kids how to play basketball, how to communicate. It lasted a couple sessions before it kind of just died out. I think it was around that time that I was getting married. So I had, you know, other engagements to focus on. I did that for a little bit. A month ago also, my wife is involved at her company. She's an ophthalmologist. They were doing some volunteer work at like a orphanage for blind kids.
Oh wow, so that's cool, man.
Yeah, so we gave away some stuff, play a little football with them, aka soccer. It's weird, dude, how they play. It has a rattle in the ball, so they could hear it, you know.
Yeah.
So
I was like, what? You mean it's strange just because they're Vietnamese? Vietnamese people can play soccer.
But yeah, so it was, that's the only experience I had with like volunteering. Like I should have been more active, but no, I didn't.
Yeah, that's cool, man. But and that's the thing too, is when you put it on your resume, it's not like how many hours a week did you volunteer. It's like how long have you been with this organization? It's like 2 years. I went like 4 times. Nah.
Very true.
Yeah. And so this kind of feeds into the next one here, talking about networking, right? Because I feel like this is a good skill to have, especially if you want to be like an entrepreneur or if you just want to get ahead in life. Like you got to be able to make connections, like network, get to know people.
That's definitely true, because you just never know who you might meet and what they could offer you or what you could offer them, where it's like a really mutual match.
Exactly, man. And you know, like everybody's like, oh yes, if I study hard and I work hard, I'll get the best job I can get. And it's like, man, there's some dumb mofos out there that just got a sweet job because of who they know.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
That's
like,
true.
Or maybe like, you know, I feel like even in my situation, like I applied for this job and like I was much more qualified than somebody who was chosen for it before me because they knew the people that were in the system. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, man, like volunteering is a very good way to network because like, you know, a lot of the groups that I work with have like, you know, professional type of people that work in a variety of industries, you know? So they might be able to hook you up like with people.
Yeah, like,
you know,
like you said, they're like like-minded people. So you're already like
Yeah.
have your foot in the door with them because like you're doing something, especially volunteering for a good cause that you already have like, a good impression already, and that kind of opens a lot of doors immediately.
Yeah, and then like other ways you can network in your local area is, they have a lot of events and stuff. I'm sure if you look for them, like different kind of like English like exchanges or language exchanges. Another one would be kind of like festivals, like just going to different events in the area, like meetings for professional organizations, like in Nagoya, like they have like the ACCJ, it's like the American Chamber of Commerce in Japan. And they're saying that even people who aren't like American can like show up, and it's like a lot of businessmen and stuff. Like, I don't know if they have that in Vietnam, but they might, American Chamber of Commerce.
Not that I know
There's
of.
even, there's one that my friend that has the other volunteer group, he has like TCSJ, it's like Tokai Canada Society Japan, or maybe it's Japan Society, I can't remember. Yeah, but stuff like that can be pretty cool. There's also groups like Toastmasters. I know you went to a couple of those meetings.
Yes, I did. That was very enjoyable.
And usually those people are students or they want to like improve like speaking for their job, And then out here in Japan too, there's also like some sports groups you can join, like volleyball, badminton. And then really just any other type of like group activity, And it's like language classes or, cultural exchange. Like, yeah, this can all be pretty good networking opportunities. Yeah, but I think
Go ahead, bro.
with my experience networking, I don't know, man. I feel like especially since like I dabble like in freelancing a little bit, but I'm not like actively like promoting myself all the time. So usually for me, networking has just been in volunteer events, like just getting to know people, getting to expand the network, not really like pitching them anything,
Yeah.
And then, I've been to some other like international events and stuff and whatnot, but it doesn't hurt, man. Like you just meet somebody, talk to them, like, exchange some info. Yeah. It's a good time. Yeah.
Nice.
How about you, dude? You do any networking out there?
Not lately, but I used to do a lot of it when Mingle was at a co-working space. We used to do a lot of mingling, a lot of networking, and because I'm still like the only foreigner in the company, and I have pretty good social skills, that I used to kind of proactively go out to networking events to try to see who we could find. At that time, we were still a staff of 20 and trying to hire, some potential candidates and trying to find who else we could partner with. So I used to, like on Fridays at our office at the co-working space, we used to have like a Mingle Friday, invite all the other teams around, come join us and drink. In Vietnam, there's a really big tech scene, and a lot of people here network because of the tech stuff. So they used to have at least like every Friday night and Saturday night, there's always at least a designated location to network and meet other people, learn about the other businesses, and try to see if you guys could sync up somewhere. Because from what I know, people hop around startups left and right.
Yeah, right. Just wherever's going to give them the most money. Yeah.
Yeah, money, or sometimes people are following their passion, at least something. But eventually, like after a while, it's the same faces and the same stories, So also, once we got into our own office, the networking stuff kind of stopped because we're kind of focusing internally instead of externally.
Yeah. And I forgot that was another thing I wanted to mention. Like if you're looking for volunteer groups or you're looking for different networking opportunities, like usually even like some Facebook groups or like maybe, finding people on Twitter or LinkedIn. Sometimes you can find some stuff too. Like social marketing can be a good way to find some places for that.
Most definitely.
Yeah. And so something else that I've been looking to get into, like I've done a little bit, is freelancing. And I feel like freelancing is very cool depending on what you want to do, because you basically are like your own boss,
Correct.
Yeah, and then you set your schedule, like you decide what you're gonna do, and then like it's like you working for you, So I feel like a big part of freelancing, though, especially like if you just got somewhere, is like you really have to kind of establish your brand, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, I think showing up to volunteering things helps because it always shows that you're outgoing. And then you also want to show that you're reliable and that, like, you can take on something and get the job done, Because I don't know, I've just heard a lot of stories. People are like, hey, I need somebody to help me do this. This person said that they would do it, and then they never came through,
That sucks.
And it's like, yeah, but it's like, if somebody hires you, they don't want to have to manage you too.
Correct.
Like, right? Like,
Correct.
You should be able to manage yourself. Yeah, and so some of the big, like, freelancing opportunities I've heard of in Japan are, like, doing translation, So it could be either translating things from English into Japanese, for Japanese people. Or probably what's even more common is from Japanese to English. So you could translate like stuff for like websites for like companies or like restaurants, hotels, like things that are related in the tourism industry. Yeah, there's even like contracts, like small businesses might need like terms and conditions, or like a privacy policy for their English website if they're going to be like making reservations for, overseas visitors and stuff. Another one could be like menus or marketing materials, like flyers for small businesses. Like I've heard stories of people going around and like they'll visit like a restaurant and it's like, yeah, so I looked at your English menu and I found like about like 15 mistakes. If you want me to fix it, here's my card. It's like I could make this a lot better. You know what I mean? Hopefully it wasn't the owner that made it, because then you'll just like piss him off. Yeah, but there's definitely opportunities out there, and then, I think it works well because you're helping promote like local businesses,
Yeah.
and then at the same time, you're building your skills, your repertoire, But I think a big thing for getting into freelancing is you really are marketing yourself. So you have to present like a good image. Like you definitely want to look like prepared, put together. I was reading on some other websites too, like it doesn't hurt to have like a Louis Vuitton wallet, like some designer shoes, like, it just makes you look like rich.
You gotta look the part, right?
Yeah. But it's like you gotta be prepared, ready to go. And like in Japan, like business cards are a must. If you don't have business cards, like nobody's gonna take you seriously,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's when like the networking really comes into play, is because, the bigger your network is, the more possible like opportunities you can find, Yeah. But I don't know, I haven't done a lot of freelance work, like a little bit. Like I have some private students that I teach on the side, and this is all confidential. I'm not supposed to, but I do it anyway. Also, I've done some translation work for small companies, like a travel agency, and then even like that travel agency, and they see how I work. Like, hey, we want to make this pamphlet for like local tourism. We want you to be in it. I'm like, you got it, and like that's in the works right now. I think that'll come out like next month or something.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. You said you haven't really done any freelancing though, huh?
I had attempted to, but I never really followed through with it.
Yeah, it can be hard though.
Because I see a lot of ASO, which is like App Store Optimizations. Pretty much like, it's almost like SEO, but for apps. Because we used to release so many apps, I understood that system like pretty thoroughly. And I was planning to kind of do some freelance work on some websites. But I just never really just completed it.
For sure, man.
Yeah. I mean, that was like my foot in the door of trying it. But then I kind of stopped. Right now, though, me and you have been talking on the side of trying to maybe do something on our own. So maybe this is the year. Maybe this is the year.
Yeah, man. It could happen, dude.
Yep, it can happen.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think we're getting towards the end of this one then, huh?
I think so there, buddy.
All right, for sure, man. That does it for another fresh episode of Dudes in Asia. Volunteering is a great way to get to know people while improving your own skills. And like if you want to be the master of your own destiny, you got to go out there and make it happen.
That's right. Going out there and making it happen is the way to go. Expand your circle, get out of your comfort zone, and evolve as a person is a must in today's world. especially you got goals and dreams you're aiming for. Anywho, this is the People's Nugs signing out. Be sure to check out our blog at dewsinasia.blogspot.com or hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/dewsinasia.
Yeah, I'll probably try to get up a post or two in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you already got a good amount out there, bro.
Consistency is the key.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, search for @DavidHater. That's @DavidHar. Peace out.
Peace.